The unity of Nigeria is under threat as a result of insecurity. Where have we gotten it wrong?
What every region is asking for, better security. I think the North Central and the Middle Belt, and indeed the North, has suffered the most since insecurity started. It started from Jos, the North Central. This whole insecurity thing started from about 2003 in Jos. And we had asked then that this issue be nipped in the bud so it doesn't spread to the rest of the country. Unfortunately, the issue wasn't nipped in the bud, and of course this was in previous governments, and then now it has spilled over into this government, and it is even worse. So we must find a solution. And I think the issue is that the communities and the security forces have to have a synergy. I think our security forces still are not well equipped. When I say well equipped, I mean they're not well coordinated enough to tackle insecurity, because there's no country that would scale from being a peaceful, loving country all of a sudden to this level of insecurity, and still, we don't have any solution to it. So we still have to go back to the security forces and our communities. That's all of us. We have to work harder. But the security forces especially, because they are the ones that are mandated by law to protect the lives and properties of citizens. And yes, that has been the story all over Jos, Plateau, even parts of Nasarawa now, Benue, Niger. Unfortunately, Niger never had these issues, but you see what's happening in Niger now. So the North Central really, I think we deserve a development commission as well, because the Northeast has a development commission. We also need a development commission, North Central Development Commission, to help the victims recover and to rebuild and rehabilitate the North Central, which has been the initial target of violence and attacks.
What are the lessons, challenges, and way forward?
Like I said, is we never want to go back to military rule. And the lessons we've learned that we must have respect for the human rights of every Nigerian. It's interesting to see that during the Constitutional Amendment Review, a lot of Nigerians want to make the fundamental human rights, Chapter 4, justiciable, the right to education especially. Every Nigerian should be educated, every Nigerian child. Unfortunately, we have one of the highest rates of out-of-school children, and this is worrisome, and this will continue to be a big menace to Nigeria. And then we also need to learn that the more united we are, the stronger we are as a nation. Nigeria has a lot of respect around the world, and people know that we have the potential to be the greatest nation, not just in Africa, but in the entire world. At least we can be one of the greatest nations. But unfortunately, we are still starting the journey, and we have a lot of teething problems. And instead of us to keep growing, we seem to be fighting ourselves and fighting each other. And we don't need that right now. Rwanda is manufacturing phones. Other countries in Africa are going ahead of us. So let's look at how we can develop our technology, science research institutions, and become one of the Asian tigers, the African tigers of the continent, rather than infighting. I don't think that's very healthy.
Your father was one of the founding members of this democratic dispensation. Would he be happy to see what is going on in the country?
Well, of course, they wanted a full-fledged democratic culture in the country. We do have Nigerians are very aware, and they do participate. And Nigerians are very proactive when it comes to defending their rights. So I think in that sense, yes, they would be quite happy. But in the sense of the insecurity and the lack of progress being made in some fields of government, especially on employment, I don't think they'll be too happy. So I think, but with the democratic spirit of Nigerians, I think they'll be very happy with that.
Taking into consideration the low percentage of female representation at the National Assembly, can you highlight on some of your achievements in this 9th Assembly?
I have been in many international parliaments, and I've seen how women are very well represented in different countries. I've been to visited parliaments in Rwanda, in South Africa, Egypt, and women are very well represented, 35% and over. But when you come to the Nigerian parliament, you realize that we have a very, very low number. I think we're about 7% of women. I was very happy that the women got together, Women's Caucus, and we came up with a bill to ensure that the Constitution is amended, and also to ensure that women have a role, an increase in the number of seats. I think when that happens, we'll see a lot of changes in this country. Even in running this country, in the governance of this country, a lot of changes will happen, because it has been proven that where women participate in government in elected positions, those countries perform better in governance. So I think one of the key issues to me that has been very beneficial is that. And then also a lot of other things, of course. PIB bill is almost done. There's been a lot of achievements. The low points, of course, has been when we had NSAS and a lot of protests, where Nigerians showed a lot of dissatisfaction in how the country is being run. That will worry us, because we are the leaders of the country, and when citizens are not happy with us, we have to step back and look at ourselves and see what are we doing or what are we not doing to make Nigeria a better place. So I think that was a wake-up call.
What are you doing to make sure that the women bill is passed?
There are other strategies. We have to go down to the states, and then we have to do more work to ensure that when it comes to voting, it does pass, and that men are aware that as male colleagues, that they also owe a duty to the women in their constituencies to see that the plight of women is well represented and is uplifted in politics and political life.
How is the journey so far with Nigerian democracy?
And of course, for that, his life was earmarked, but as God would have it, Abacha died before anything happened to him. So what I'm trying to say is, the whole nation at that time was united. The Yorubas, the Igbos, the Hausas, Fulanis, the Tiv, Ijaw, Tarok, Igala, every single tribe in Nigeria had one common purpose: to free ourselves from military rule and to have one united Nigeria that will forge ahead and make this country great. Their theme then was make Nigeria great again, but first get us out of the clutches of the military. As you well know, Abiola too had played a key role. My father too was key to that, the convention held in Jos, and they had all supported Abiola. Now the issue is that the vision of our forefathers, is it still being carried out today? There seems to be a shift from the vision of our forefathers, founding fathers, to Nigeria's new democracy, democratic rule for the last 23 years. And the vision was that every Nigerian have a sense of belonging, every Nigerian have a stake, and every Nigerian calls this country its own without thinking of even leaving or going to another country or finding refuge elsewhere. But today, I think our problem mainly is that people lack a sense of belonging. And Nigeria, the government must do all it can do to restore the confidence of Nigerians back into this united Nigeria that we once had. I must say that it's not easy to keep a country as diverse as Nigeria together. There is a lot of strength in diversity. You know, we cannot all be the same, but that's the beauty of Nigeria. You know, we're different cultures, different tribes, but we all make up one great country. I think what the government needs to do and the political class needs to do is to sit down and see where have we gone wrong. Why is everybody all of a sudden agitating for its own regional independence? I think it's a very sad situation we're in. I do not believe in self-actualization. I also do not believe that it's good or healthy for this country. I think that the best thing for us to do is to accept that we all have challenges we face as a nation. And the stronger we are together, the more united we are, the stronger this country will be. But the more divided we are, the weaker our nation will be. So if we really want Nigeria to forge ahead, the political class must come together. Let us have some sort of a dialogue with each other and say, look, we all have a stake in this country. We must remain we must remain united. There's no question about it. And that is not negotiable. Dividing Nigeria is not negotiable. We have to remain united. So I think it's very important the political class come together and say we must remain united. However, accept that there are challenges people are facing in their different regions of Nigeria and try to address those challenges.